All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are putting on our detective hats because we are going to solve a mystery that I think pretty much everyone has dealt with. That one stubborn dark spot that shows up on your skin and just will not leave. Let's get into it.
You know the one I'm talking about, right? You finally get rid of a pimple or maybe a bug bite heals up and you think, great, it's over. But nope, you're left with this little shadow, this souvenir you absolutely did not ask for. It's so frustrating, and you start to wonder if it's ever going to go away.
Well, here's the first clue, and it's a big one. You are definitely not alone in this. And this is the most important part, that annoying mark is not a scar. Seriously, it's something else entirely, and figuring out what it is, well, that's the first step to cracking the case.
So, to solve this mystery, we have to go right to the scene of the crime, which is your skin, and figure out what's really going on when it kind of goes into, well, let's call it panic mode.
I mean, our skin is pretty incredible, isn't it? It's our hero, our first line of defense against everything. When it gets hurt, and that could be anything from a breakout to a little scratch, its number one job is to heal. But sometimes, that heroic response can be a little overenthusiastic. It just goes into complete overdrive.
And what happens next is this wild chain reaction. It all kicks off with inflammation. That inflammation sends out an SOS, a healing signal. But that signal also causes a bit of panic in your skin's pigment-making cells. They're called melanocytes. And in their panic, they just release a flood of melanin, which is the stuff that gives your skin its color. That extra melanin pools in one spot, and voila, you've got a dark mark.
And guess what? This whole drama has an official name. The culprit we've been hunting down is called Post-Inflammatory Hyperpigmentation, or PIH for short. It sounds super sciencey, I know, but all it really means is extra color after swelling. So the key takeaway here is, it's not damage, it's just a side effect of your skin doing its healing job. Okay, so now that we've put a name to our suspect, PHI, it's time to look a little closer at the evidence, because it turns out not all of these spots are the same, and the differences, they're really important.
And this, right here, is the absolute key to the whole thing. The number one clue to understanding these marks is figuring out how deep that extra pigment actually went. Is it just hanging out on the surface, or did it sink way down into the deeper layers of your skin?
This breaks it down perfectly. So on the left, you've got epidermal PIH. If your spot looks brown, that pigment is probably right there in the top layer of your skin. The best way to think of it is like a temporary tattoo. It'll fade as your skin naturally renews itself. But then on the right, we have dermal PIH. If the spot has a kind of blue-gray tint to it, that means the pigment has gone deeper. And since that deeper layer doesn't shed, well, those marks are way more stubborn. Okay, hold on, because there's one more really crucial piece to this puzzle we need to talk about, and that is the fact that PIH doesn't show up the same way for everyone. It's especially common and can be more intense for those of us with melanin-rich skin. And I really want to pause on this for a second because it's so important. If you have a deeper skin tone and you feel like you're always dealing with these marks, I need you to hear this. It is not a flaw in your skin. It is simply a matter of your unique skin biology.
So why does this happen? Well, in melanin-rich skin, those pigment-producing cells we talked about, the melanocytes, they're naturally larger. And not just that, they're also more reactive. That means when that inflammation alarm goes off, their response is just bigger and faster. Any little thing is more likely to trigger that flood of melanin, which results in spots that are often darker and stick around for longer. It's all about that heightened reactivity.
So, there you have it. We've followed the clues, we've identified our culprit, and we've gotten to the bottom of the science. Let's wrap up this whole investigation with the final verdict. And the verdict is that stubborn spot is not a permanent scar. It's just a biological echo. It's a temporary footprint left behind by your skin's heroic, if sometimes a little dramatic, healing process. It's basically your body telling the story of its own recovery.
So, case closed on the what and the why. The mystery of the stubborn spot is officially solved. But that just opens up a whole new question, doesn't it? Now that we know what it is, what's the battle plan? How do we deal with it? Well, that sounds like a whole other investigation for another day. Thanks for cracking this case with me.